Lies can be very bitter, and the one person who will never cover a lie is God. God will never cover a lie. God will never allow a lie to prosper. The Bible said, I've read it for you in Proverbs, is that what? True words will stand the test of time, but a lie must be. This is a command. A lie must be exposed. That means every lie has an expiry date. And it's very easy to see when the expiry date of a nation's lies come. All of a sudden, life outside, social life outside becomes very weird. All kinds of things start bubbling out of the inside of people. You can tell when the heat underneath a nation has been turned up spiritually, because people will begin to give voice to everything which is true. It's almost like they're on a timer. It's almost like they're being compelled. People will just start making confessions and saying things and saying things and saying things. And God also, as the leader of this nation, whether anyone actually thinks he deserves it or not, he's the leader and owner of this whole thing. God is going to lead the way in tearing down and exposing lies. Is saying that he's finding himself in a very morose, depressed, and highly lamenting states. He's saying that if his tears could be numbered, his whole head would have to be called a fountain because of how much water is pouring out of his eyes. And he's saying that he's crying for the dead. But the problem here is that nobody is dead yet. Nobody's dead yet. It is only towards the end where you see that God will let the Babylonians breach the wall, kill many of them. They manage to seal the wall up, and then a second breach will occur. And at that second breach, they will slaughter even more of them in the city, and then they will march them naked in their skin as captives to Babylon and basically rout the whole place. But then this man is saying here that he's crying for the dead. So obviously, it's the dead that he can see are coming. Jeremiah had the same problem that I have, which is that I speak to people about how many will be slaughtered here in the United States for their hard-heartedness, for how they disbelieve the prophecies of God, for how they mock the prophecies of God, and they try to trample them under their feet. And this man is crying because he's already seen the devastation. He's already seen the death. He already basically knows where the hard-heartedness is leading. He knows where the rejection and the mockery is leading. And it's making him despair, because there's nothing quite as painful as telling people that they're going to kill your children, they're going to capture you and take you to Russia. And then the people said, have you seen the Marines? And have you seen the Coast Guard? And have you seen the Navy? And have you seen me? So he's crying how it feels for them who really know reality to watch you. So they've been watching you watch Truman, and then God sends Celestial to now expose Truman, and now they're watching you fight for Truman. Truman is real. Truman's life is real. Truman's life is not a lie, even though you've been watching Truman's entire life be a lie. And that's why you don't understand how angry God is. That we've been made guinea pig experiments. That's why you can't connect with God, because you have less in common with God and everything in common with Truman. You want Truman to win. You want Truman to keep their little big glass plates that they won by powering testosterone against women who tried to play against them. You want Truman to take all the medals at Paris, all the medals coming up in 2028, all the medals forever. You want Truman to be a real girl, even though God's trying his hardest to tell you that Truman is not. To those who are coming out of the lies of Mystery Babylon, come out. To those who are staying in, let me know your address so I can send you a pillow. You might as well be comfortable if you're going to stay asleep. We're going to look at 3 scriptures. Nation, listen to me. I have nothing to lose. Everything to gain by honoring God. If you live in this nation and you're over the age of 10, and you saw Whitney Houston lose her life in what I call the anomaly, how many people in your life in the greater wide universe lost their life inside of a bathtub? How many people do you know actually came to a staggering end on the very day that a huge party was planned to honor them, and then all of a sudden they were found, trust me, it was not a few hours before, no, was found floating in the tub at the very moment that all the guests were dressed up in their nines downstairs. America, what does it take to make you realize a ritual? A large-scale ritual. And the ritual has multiple layers. The funny part of the ritual is to actually have the killed chicken upstairs as the rest of the chickens gather downstairs to honor the chicken who lost its life. That's the first layer of trauma. The second layer is when they bring it out to you with these horrific details. Then there's a mass trauma in the nation that sets off some kind of energy field that these creatures that lurk always over us then begin to feed from. The crying, the trauma, the hurt, the pain, the outcry, the sorrow. It feeds them, these demons. And they do it on a complete repeating scale. So the trauma happens, and then they allow exactly 2 or 3 years to go by, and then another shocking statistics. Not in the month, not in the week, but on the same day that the mother died, the daughter dies in the identical circumstances. I don't even need to plot the statistical graphs to know that with this one, there's a direct plunge right off the paper.